I don't want to make you love insurance. That's not going to happen in my lifetime. How do I make you not hate insurance? That is my mission in life. I love blockchain so much. Mm-hmm. And I can tolerate insurance. I am in insurance. I think these guys can get married together and have some kind of Frankenstein baby. People want an answer and they want a solution. If it comes by flying pigeon, it doesn't matter, as long as you give them the answer they deserve for the money they paid. So therein lies the question of, would you pay 300 to 400 dirhams for peace of mind? Without startups, VCs won't exist. Without employees, startups won't exist. So we need to take care of our employees just as much as VCs need to take care of us. It's kind of like a there's a value chain there. Don't make me have to go outside. I want to grow the region. I want to help the region. Help us help you.
Welcome back to The Change Officer. This episode is brought to you by Podster, full-service video podcast production company. If you want to produce your own podcast to accomplish your business goals, hit them up at podster.com. Today, our main topic is insurance. But wait, I know insurance business is usually pretty rigid and very skeptical about innovations, but when you pair it with blockchain technology, things are getting more and more interesting. Often, blockchain technology is linked with cryptocurrencies, but in this case, it's a completely different story. Walid Daniel Dib is a guy who is trying to implement blockchain technology solutions into the car insurance industry with his new business venture, Hala. He's actually trying to do a lot more than that. He's here in our office in Dubai, and we will try to squeeze some of the interesting insights about blockchain, cryptocurrency insurance, and try to uncover some untold stories from Walid's past that made him who he is today. I am Vuk, and you are watching The Change Officer. Welcome to the Change Officer podcast, Walid.
Thank you for having me.
It's awesome to have you here, man.
Thank you, man. Pleasure.
I've been looking forward to conversation. You guys have been rocking recently. You have super inspiring industry story to share with the audience. There is a lot of podcasts out there already that people can tune in to hear your personal story. We're going to talk more about what you guys are currently doing, what's going on in the market. So let's start from unpacking the insurance market. The insurance industry traditionally quite boring, right? It's not like your dream to join insurance industry when you're a kid.
That's what I tell people, actually. I typically go like, how many people did you know who work in, out of the thousands that work in insurance, go like, when I grow up, I want to work in insurance.
Nobody wants to sell insurance. And nobody wants to buy insurance. Nobody likes buying insurance.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow. I can't wait to buy my car insurance policy.
Exactly. So nothing really significantly changed in that industry for the previous, 100 years. And we had an interesting episode with Frederick last year, but we're going to have a different angle this time. Tell me your opinion about the insurance industry, especially in this market.
In a very short nutshell, it's difficult when I say this. Usually people go like, what? I hate insurance. I'll tell you what I mean. I hate how insurance is today. The way I look at it is, if you go on any insurance company's website, or not any, but most in the Middle East, there's a picture of an umbrella, a picture of a Technicolor family smiling and saying like this, or a car or whatever, and special offers and prices like that. But where's the link where I can file a claim? Which is why I buy insurance. I buy insurance to be safe, or I buy insurance because I have to, because the regulation makes me buy it. But I also buy it to be safe, right? So where can I click to file a claim? And there's nothing on the main website usually. And if there are some big global companies, I'm not going to mention any of their names. You find a claim form that is very long. At the bottom, it says fax here. And all I could think of is, man, if the banking sector is 15 years behind the tech industry, the insurance sector must be 35 years behind in the Middle East, at least.
That's crazy. Yeah. But why do you think that's the case? I mean, it's not like people working in the insurance industry are less like forward thinking or innovating than people working in the banking sector.
If I've been making a lot of money for a very long time and it's working so far, I'm not going to change it. Not me, but in general. For example, I think that's when cars first came out. People in carts and horses, they were like, I don't need this. Look, man, this horse goes fast just enough. You need to build asphalt roads for these. You don't really need them. And then there's a risk you take, of course, in educating the masses about the benefits of home insurance. And nobody wants to take that risk because my profits year on year are slowly but steadily increasing by 1%, 2%, whatever. And why do I have to take a risk and be the one that makes the change? Why do I have to be the change officer?
Yeah, exactly. So to bring in the perspective, so what happened over the previous 20 years, technology exponentially developed and grew, and that opened up opportunities across basically every industry, definitely within insurance industry as well. There is one specific technology that is being talked about a lot over the previous period, and it's blockchain. But usually blockchain is associated with crypto.
Correct.
And then when you say blockchain, people think crypto. When you say crypto, people think blockchain. Yeah. What is blockchain?
So I mean, the most basic way of thinking it is it's a distributed ledger, where if I am in a room and I sneeze, everybody in the room can record that I sneezed at the same time.
Wow, so this is the first time we hear this kind of explanation.
Say
it again. Say it again.
So this was because it crossed my mind. How do I explain it to my mom the other day? Okay. You know what I mean? So if basically if I'm in a room and I sneeze and everybody hears me sneeze at the same time, then they record it. Then when I walk out, there's nobody who can say, no, he sneezed twice. No, because the ledger of all of these people who didn't necessarily see me but heard me, they all know that this happened at this time.
Okay.
So once that gets recorded and gets decentralized, there's no central authority in that room who I can say, nobody heard me, but I can promise you I sneezed. You know? So there's a virality joke there somewhere about COVID. I don't know where it is. But the idea is, effectively, it's a way to distribute information across everybody and maintain a ledger that's decentralized between all of the participants. It's pretty useful in insurance, and we actually tried doing something before Hala called Addenda, wherein we built a platform to reconcile payments between insurance companies, mainly for car accidents. We transferred about 30 million dirhams between insurance companies in the UAE. We had 9 clients with us.
We are stepping into the story of Addenda. Tell me more about the story of Addenda and how did you recognize the opportunity, then brought blockchain to solve the problem?
Right. I came across insurance completely by accident. I studied civil engineering. My brother studied civil engineering. My dad studied civil. So it's a family of civil engineers. But what happened was when I was working in insurance, prior to joining Hala, I worked in insurance in a couple of loss adjusting companies wherein I investigate large scale accidents.
Okay.
Fires, floods, and things like that. And with all due respect to my colleagues, I was the only person below 55. So whenever I did anything...
And at the time you were what, 20?
23, 24, I think. And if you think about it, whenever I did anything that was like putting an Excel spreadsheet to just jot down all of the claims and outstanding and what the reserves are, anything like that, I once showed it to my boss and he's like, why are you doing this? No, go do business development, try to get more claims from people. And at that point, it struck me that everything we're doing is manual. Even every single claim report we're doing is incredibly manual. And the board rows we have, so of how much I owe this person, how much they owe that person, you have a different number than what I have. And I had started investing in crypto in 2012, but that's a different story altogether. So I was familiar with blockchain, I was obsessed with it. I used to write for Cointelegraph, Bitcoin Magazine. And I thought, listen, I love cryptocurrency so much, or I love blockchain so much. And I can tolerate insurance. I am in insurance. I think these guys can get married together and have some kind of Frankenstein baby. So I quit, convinced my brother to quit, and we started that ledger to reconcile payments for car accidents between all these companies here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the concept.
Sure. So you have a car, I have a car. And Randy over here is an insurance company. Basically what happens is you have your own insurance company. I have mine, right? We have a comprehensive policy. So do I. We have an accident. The fault is mine. I go to my insurance company. You go to yours. The car is fixed. End of story for you and me, but not for the insurance companies. Because the fault is mine, my insurance company paid only for my repair. So your insurance company has to take money from mine.
Yes.
Because they fixed your car.
Yeah.
But it's my fault.
Yeah.
So out of the hundreds of thousands of accidents that happen, there's a lot of money that's stuck in reconciliation because you have to provide a police report, 3 different quotations for repair, blah, 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 discharge receipt, all that stuff. And it takes a quarter or longer, sometimes up to 3 years, to pay a single claim that I owe you or you owe me. So what we said was, listen, why don't we do like a workflow management where if I prove that this document is legitimate from this garage, or if I prove that this is the exact amount of payment that you owe me, then there's no discrepancy between our accounting. Because what happens is my accountants go through it, my claims people go through it, your claims people go through it, they go through it to see the claims, exactly the content, the values, and then they disagree on every single claim. Thousands of claims every quarter, submitted once a quarter. Instead, we're submitting them in real time, on the spot, resolving them in 6 days. So they get resolved by the time the car is repaired. And that's what we were trying to do at the time. We transacted about 30 million dirhams between the insurance companies in the UAE.
And who was suffering there, customers or the insurances?
Well, it's insurance companies, but when insurance companies suffer, they increase their operational costs, they increase their premiums, and then you suffer.
All right.
But let's even put that aside. When they suffer and things are slow, customer support is going to be slow as well, right?
So what happened next? Then you pivoted to Hala.
We pivoted to hala in November of 2020. And the idea here was we saw ourselves servicing insurance companies with legacy systems.
Okay.
And I mean no disrespect to insurance companies because I'm going to depend on them for quite some time. But we saw ourselves servicing insurance companies that we wanted to eventually compete with. I want to build what's the best insurance policy. Why should I be in the last mile of handling car insurance, motor claim reconciliation when I can sell the best, or I can promote or make awareness about the best type of insurance, when I can pay you a claim in the same day if you deserve it. Of course, I'm not going to pay fraudulent claims left and right. But if I can build the best product and the most easy to digest product, you can understand your policy. Nobody understands their policy. You don't read the terms and conditions, right?
Unfortunately.
How do I make you, I don't want to make you love insurance. That's not going to happen in my lifetime. How do I make you not hate insurance? That is my mission in life.
All right.
Yeah.
So how are you doing that?
What we're doing is we rely a lot on two things. We rely on emotion and customer centricity. Emotion, meaning I will show you what's valuable to you and what happens if that's gone. And what happens if you only pay, let's just say home insurance and home and contents. You have a watch, you have jewelry, your wife's wedding ring, you have your kid's PlayStation, all that stuff. What if your kid accidentally breaks the TV? What if you spill something on the rug? What if your house catches fire? And this is happening now with, a lot of buildings in the summer typically catch on fire. Water leakage happens throughout the UAE. I don't know if you've dealt with it yourself. I don't know anybody who hasn't, So therein lies the question of, would you pay 300 to 400 dirhams for peace of mind? That's a dirham a day.
Exactly.
And I don't want to sound like a salesperson or an insurance door-to-door salesperson, but if I use emotion and I use customer centricity, I'll tell you what I mean by customer centricity. And if I go on a monologue, tell me, because I have a habit of doing that. All right. So by customer centricity, I noticed if I call, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, if I call Emirates NBD, there's Eva that picks up, right?
Okay.
And immediately my blood boils.
Eva, this is nothing personal.
But immediately my blood like, hi, I'm Eva. I'm like, no, please give me someone real. But without going too much into detail there, I noticed the variance between large corporations and how they handle customer support is basically fill in all of your information. Then a robot will answer you. Then someone will pick up and they will ask you the same information again. By then, if you're being defrauded, that person defrauding you somewhere across the planet has already taken all the money. But if you look at the top customer support people that I've seen in the world, for example, Amazon delivered something to me, which was, didn't come on time. Mm-hmm. I went to my orders page. I clicked next. They know what the order is. They know what the problem is. And they said, we'll call you back in 5 minutes. Someone calls me back. He's like, hey, Walid, sorry, the order is late. I promise you it'll come tomorrow. Done.
That's it. Yeah.
So why go through the technology, the efficiency, the AI? I don't need that. I want an answer. So that's what we realized. People want an answer and they want a solution. If it comes by flying pigeon, it doesn't matter as long as you give them the answer they deserve for the money they paid. Most of the time, problems in insurance don't arise from a claim. How frequent are claims in home insurance? Very rare.
Very rare,
if relative to how often you buy. Even for car insurance, maybe people have car accidents. But what I'm saying is the most frequent problems are not that. It's, hey, can I change my address on my policy? Listen, my name is wrong. I'm at the RTA and they're not accepting it because X is happening. Insurance companies deprioritize those very frequent low severity incidents and prioritize sales, prioritize how often can I reach your phone number and call you on and on and on and on again. I don't want you. I don't want your insurance product. I want to fix my current problem.
Yeah. So what's your approach? Like, how do you do it?
Customer first, regardless of whatever happens. I think like a customer. I don't think like an insurance company. I want to hire as little insurance people as I can in my company. We need insurance people. We need people with claims experience. But anybody they train has to not have an insurance background. In fact, I don't have an insurance background. I have a civil engineering background, but I came accidentally across insurance. The longer you spend time in insurance, in my opinion, the less you can relate to the customer. The more you're going to think about spreadsheets that relate to profit and loss exclusively. And where do you squeeze customers and other things to make sure you get your profit and loss? You can get your profit and loss with happy customers. They're not mutually exclusive.
So from servicing insurances, you started basically competing with them.
So we have an insurance company that we're working with. And effectively, we help them at the moment sell insurance policies. Down the line, my intention is to eventually, potentially, maybe I don't know if I want to say this, become an insurance company down the line.
All right.
Way down the line.
Yeah.
No threat to anybody right now.
Yeah. So I want to understand it a bit better. And I want the audience to understand it a bit better as well. In the business model that you described, I heard customer centricity, focus on customers, comparing to insurances that are not so focused on, they lost touch with their customers and they're not servicing them in the right way. I still don't fully understand the difference between two operational and service models you described in the insurances. Can you tell me a bit more about it?
Sure. So are you asking about the operational model itself as to how we
in
service
general, the
customers?
difference, the service that you're providing versus the service that the traditional insurance providing today?
When you look at the claims page on our website, the first thing that shows up is how to call us and how to get in touch with us. And then, like for example, my brother, who's the COO of the company, actually handled the claim at 4 a.m. The other day. You're not going to get that elsewhere. He didn't have to either. He just likes it. He's neurotic. So if it's your hobby to handle a claim so early in the morning, go ahead. But other things than that is, how do we build our entire infrastructure to be as customer centric as possible? How do I make it as easy as possible for you to reach out to me? Whether it's for claims, for updating certain policy information. What I do in the back office is my business. I don't want to celebrate having a chatbot that can understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
No, I don't care about that. I want to care about, if you're not fraudulent, how do I pay you? And how do I get you to put 5-star reviews for me? So I can get more people who are like you, who are not fraudulent as well. And that's our main focus. So we are working with one insurance company. We're not an aggregator.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not against aggregation. I think if you go on Kayak and Skyscanner for flights, you're going to get cheaper flights, probably from sometimes dubious websites, sometimes legitimate websites, but there's a cost associated with that. So we may not be the cheapest policies in the market, but I think we're some of the best.
Yeah. No, man, I think that you're on a great way. I think that the whole insurance industry is, and everyone agrees about that. And already we are feeling that, we're getting there, but it's going to be majorly disrupted. There are a lot of trends going on. There's a lot of talk about, and you're going to help me precisely define what it is, but basically a dynamic insurance that is being charged to you based on how well are you, for example, driving your car. So if I'm careful with driving my car, I'm going to be charged less.
Correct.
Is it something that you guys are working on?
Maybe.
This was not planned question.
So I'll tell you what I think about parametric insurance or
parametric insurance. That's
or I like the word dynamic more. It's more human, right? Parametric insurance. The customer goes like, what? But here's how I feel about it. Currently in the UAE, with the price of motor insurance, it's so cheap to start with. I'm not talking from a customer perspective because it's never cheap enough for a customer. Yeah. But it's so low relative to what the floor is allowed by the central bank that they can't go lower. There's 63 insurance companies, 45 of which sell car insurance. Just to give you perspective, there's I think 100 and something brokers. I don't know how many aggregators. Everybody's competing for the same customer pool to sell them insurance as cheap as possible. You're limited with how innovative you could be with motor insurance from a price perspective, because even if you add parametric insurance, and let's say your policy is 1,000 dirhams, there's going to be Mickey Mouse insurance company somewhere in North Dubai, somewhere over there, selling insurance for half the price for no reason, because they don't care about the risk portfolio. They just want to sell insurance. How can you compete with that? How can you compete with someone who's selling rock bottom without any underwriting expertise, without anything? They just want to sell policies. Of course, they affect the market negatively, because then you have all of these accidents that happen that they have to pay others and they're almost insolvent. But that's the discussion for another time. Yeah, but the idea is, my problem with that is it would work in any other country where insurance is more expensive to start with. So like look at the States. Insurance is pretty expensive.
Yeah.
The price you pay per year here is what you would pay per month sometimes in the US.
No, it's pretty affordable here. Yeah.
And I know customers don't want to hear this. Like, it's not affordable.
Exactly.
I want to pay less because it's mandatory. But that I love as an idea for other insurance types that could be disrupted. So for example, health insurance and I think Bima's starting that. They're great. I love what they're doing. I think they're about to start health insurance. They have a coming soon page now that says, based on how often you walk or how often you run or all that stuff, your health insurance will cost less. It's a pretty cool concept to the customer.
Yeah. All right. Let's switch gears a bit now. Let's talk more about some of your lessons and experiences that you've been through. You're very young, and you've been through a lot.
I just turned 30 last week. So.
Congratulations. Welcome to the club.
To the third floor.
Exactly, to the third floor. But for the age that you have, there is a lot behind, like that you work for different companies, moved places and so on. What kept you going, and like what are your biggest drivers? Like where do you find like that motivation, that like, you know, power to wake up every morning and go hustle?
Yeah, interesting. So it wasn't always there, and it's not always there.
Yeah.
Any entrepreneur that says I wake up every day and I climb that, I don't. If he believes it, okay. If there's any drug he's taking, let me know. But like,
let us know in the comments. In the comments below.
But from my experience, it is a lot of the energy to me comes in the drive is my brother. So he's the co-founder, right? And it's almost as if him and I are competing against each other. There's this sibling rivalry since we were young, against this like secret CEO that nobody can see. And him and I try to prove ourselves more. And that competition between us breeds energy to the entire team. Also, what I realized is, I know this might sound a bit, I'm not doing this for the money. I had a much better salary before, and for the first year and a half, I had no money. I almost lost all my money doing this. So most definitely a crazy thing to do. What drives me to do it is when I see the results of the fruit of our labor, both internally and externally. Internally, we're now 21 people. And when I saw the other day, and I don't want to sound very cheesy, but I saw two of my colleagues have an inside joke. I didn't know the inside joke, but just to see that it got breeded in the office that I made or bred, it's fascinating to me. To see people I don't know ask about Hala or talk about Google reviews on Hala or mention it or comment on us positively or negatively, it means that there's some kind of legacy. And I even asked myself, like, is that a reflection of my ego? Am I egocentric or not? I don't know the answer to that question, but it's super fun to see the fruits of your labor being consumed by others.
Yeah. It's kind of, entrepreneurship is like a drug, really. And that feeling of, like, what drives me is that feeling of creating something, not actually creating, that feeling that you're going through of thinking, what if this actually like happens? Like
clicks.
What if we actually make it?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. You said you have 21 people. You started growing. You raised some funds. How did you decide to go down the VC road?
So when I quit, I didn't know what a VC stands for. And then someone gave me the VC Bible. It's a book. It escapes my mind right now. I think it's called, I forgot. When I remember, I'll tell you.
Yeah, all right. Don't forget.
Venture Deals. It's called Venture Deals.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway, so I read all about that, and I still didn't understand what I was doing. And then I had a boiler template, the pitch deck, and I found 100 VC emails online. I emailed all of them. 99 ignored me. One of them responded, saying no. So at least he said something, right? So that was okay. This guy answered.
Did you approach all of the VCs here in the region, or
at the beginning? No, I just was randomly talking, because at the beginning it was me and my brother chilling in the IFC. They don't know what we're doing, you know. But then my pitch became better and better and better, and I knew which VCs to approach in the region and which VCs to steer clear of. And I will tell any founder which VC to steer clear of, not on this show, but in general, in person. There are VCs that don't have money but pretend they do. There are VCs who will treat you like a private equity deal, and there are VCs.
What's the difference between private equity and VC deal?
In my opinion, like a private equity deal is if you're buying Aramco. Okay, the amount of information you need, the binders you need for that is crazy. There are VCs who have invested in us who in 3 days paid, and that shocked me to my core.
How was the feeling when you refresh, and all of a sudden, boom?
I wake up. So this specific VC, I woke up in the morning and I saw the funds on my SMS, and my personal bank SMS and my company bank SMS is the same SMS. And I'm looking like, okay, this happened. You know, Kareem, bro, dude, this fucking happened. This is real, you know. And it never gets old. That feeling of we've convinced someone to believe in what we're doing never gets old. I love it.
How much did you raise? Is that
so far 1.8?
1.8.
And we're about to close our Series A.
All right.
And man, I'm so excited, so pumped to see that there are people who believe in me. When they first invested in us, nobody invested in Adenda. They invested in Walid and Kareem and the team. And when the team grows and you come to our office, you're more than welcome to come anytime. You too, Randy. Whenever anybody comes to the office, you'll see the energy. It's crazy there. It's not an insurance, or I don't want to say insurance company, because we're not an insurance company. It's not an insurtech. It's a playground. We have a Nintendo Switch. We just play after work, but we work pretty hard. And I just love the feeling of fundraising as well. Is like you said, there's extreme highs and extreme lows. When a VC rejects you, it's like you're getting rejected by a girl you've been trying to date for. Does
that change as you go down the road and you start pitching all over again and over again after 20 rejections? Do you get like used to it?
100%. So for me now,
how many, like,
I don't waste your time now.
Do you have the exact number of how many VCs did you approach? Usually people say I approached 100, got 99 no's, has one yes, or I approached 300. When someone tells me I approached 300, Usually I don't believe that.
So for this specific round I'm in now, I'm in conversation. Some of them have turned us down, respectfully. Some of them I definitely don't want to deal with, and I've turned them down, and I wish down the line I can write the story about it. In total, maybe 30. But keep in mind, at the moment now, the VCs I'm talking to, they already know who I am, and I already know who they are, right? Some of them don't, and that's the perfect opportunity. Like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, exactly. You know? No, the reason I'm asking the question is to set the realistic expectations for anyone out there who is looking to raise funds. Because usually, and you heard that before, when people are talking about this, you need to approach 500 and get 499 no's and you get one yes. And then people are like, yeah, how am I going to approach 500? But that's not true.
But it's not a numbers game, right?
Yeah, like it's not. It's a numbers game, but like people need to hear the real numbers as well.
I can tell you. So the 100 VCs I approached that ignored me, this is how to do it wrong. How not to do it is do that. Then what I did was...
How to do it right.
Yeah, how to do it right is basically go into any kind of accelerator or incubator or be part of any ecosystem that's governmental in the UAE, if you are in the UAE. Avoid any of the predatory ecosystems that take 6 to 7 to 10% and give you nothing, and instead give you Microsoft credits and Azure credits. And
that they got for free from Microsoft.
Go get them from Microsoft.
Exactly.
Talk to me. Okay, I'll put you in touch. But there are these incubators that take a lot of percentage out of you that do work. For example, 500 startups, Y Combinator. Anything else? No. Okay. But we were part of the IFC FinTech Hive and Mohammed bin Rashid Innovation Fund, and now part of Hub 71. So we are continuously incubated like an egg that's about to hatch. And for example, in Hub 71, we don't pay for our accommodation, we don't pay for our office space, and we don't pay for our insurance. That's a huge relief on my OpCo.
Accommodation. I
live on the beachfront, bro.
Wow.
Like, it is so cool. We live in Abu Dhabi, promoting Abu Dhabi. But basically, it's a phenomenal experience. But I think going back to your VC question, because I obviously always digress. But going back to your VC question, then I realized which VCs to talk to. My problem was I don't know how to pitch. I was garbage at pitching. Okay. Yeah, okay, I could be charming and cutesy and jokey and dorky, but that's not what a VC wants. So now I've sculpted my pitch deck to be perfect in 3 minutes. The same pitch deck can be perfect in 10 minutes. The same pitch deck can be perfect over coffee without you even seeing the pitch deck, or an hour. The way I approach VCs now, because I'm halfway through the round, right? We've already got commitment. Is I walk up to you politely. I say, here's what it is. Why would you not invest in me? I want to make sure you say no to me. This way, I cannot waste your time and you cannot waste my time. If you say, maybe we need to go to the data room, cool. How much time do you need? There's a lot of deal flow coming in our way. No, there isn't. Okay. With all due respect, like there are so many international VCs where the partners of these international VCs who have IPO'd their startups respond to us and respond to other startups in the Middle East in 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Don't tell me that a junior analyst in a VC, with all due respect, somewhere here, doesn't have time to respond to an Arab startup. It is your obligation to respond on time, to nurture the ecosystem. Yeah. If you can't respond on time, you don't belong in this VC.
Yeah.
Sorry, VCs. I'm just saying.
No, that's the message that we want. That's the message that we want to hear.
There's supply and there's demand, right? Without startups, VCs won't exist. Without employees, startups won't exist. So we need to take care of our employees just as much as VCs need to take care of us. It's kind of like there's a value chain there. And if we don't respect that value chain, other VCs from abroad will come, and the same VCs that ignored us and ignored all of these other startups will start chasing us, but we don't want them. We'll want the ones from, the big VCs. So that's not what we want to happen. I want to have investments come from the region. I am from the region. Don't make me have to go outside. I want to grow the region. I want to help the region. Help us help you.
Big question. Another episode. What's the one single most important skill for an entrepreneur?
This applies to me, but not to others. My single North Star is empathy. Am I empathetic to my team? And I'm empathetic to my investors and my customers. Can I relate to my customer? Because I am a customer. And if I cannot relate to my team, then I'm a dictator. And if I can't relate to my investors, then I'm potentially not doing my fiduciary duty towards them. So empathy to understand why the other side feels the way it does. And based on that, frame my response and what I do next. So for example, employees want to work remotely. They don't because our office is awesome, but let's say they do, right? I want to see why. And if it makes sense that they produce better while working remotely, let's go. Customers say, I don't want to pick up the phone and answer a robot and have to wait for half an hour just to change my address. Can I change my address? And it's such a basic thing to do. It's not about filing claims and paying these claims, and it's basic things. If I can't just listen to you, I don't need to hire an expensive company to do focus. Just listen. Talk to your friends. What do they want? Why do they hate insurance? Why do you hate insurance? You know, like, why do we all hate insurance? And investors, why are investors worried? I will always listen to a VC that turned me down if they turn me down clearly. Don't ghost me like a date. Okay. And some VCs have said, Walid, look, I love the idea. I love what you're doing. This is not the right time. I don't agree, but it's not a bad answer. It's clear. Or, for example, your KPIs are not what I have in mind. Your growth is not what I have in mind. I love that. We're not synergistic. We can go ahead.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Well, ask and listen. That's the message.
Listen, exactly. But have someone answer.
Yeah, exactly. I think that very often people in business don't ask, don't validate, and don't listen.
And I did that. So that was my mistake at the beginning.
We're in love with the idea so much that you didn't go out there and just validate and ask.
That was addenda. So I thought, I'm going to bring blockchain and reconcile the back end of payments for car insurance. What turns out was, we don't mind paying it in 3 months because we don't have money anyway to pay the other insurance companies. So we don't really want you to fix and give transparency here.
There is this great global movement, How I Fucked Up. And there are these fuck up nights here in Dubai.
Did they start here?
They started a long time ago.
I want to be part of them.
Exactly. So
I got a lot
here is your pitch.
Yeah.
Here's the chance for your pitch. Tell me about the time when you fucked up, which then later on turned out to be a great lesson and taught you something in life.
I hired someone who was extremely charming to be in sales. A fantastic individual. He was from an insurance brokerage background. The guy was just phenomenal at sales. Scary, sharp, shrewd. And the problem
Hollywood type of seller, huh?
Wolf of Wall Street. No joke. The problem here is there's always kind of a drama between sales, business development roles and founders where there's a trusting. This guy's so good at selling, I can't trust him. But at the same time, while he's amazing, there was zero culture fit with the rest of the company. The foundations weren't the same, the principles weren't the same, and the goals weren't the same. And then we pivoted. And certain things they culminated to a level where I got very upset and frustrated and fired the person on the spot. And I had lost that empathy, where this was someone who traveled from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, sold all of their stuff to come live with us and come be part of the Addenda family. And to him, it's treason. Like, what have I done? It's not my fault I'm not a culture fit. You should have known more. It's not my fault that you were pivoting. So the problem for me was I had to sit down and think deeply. And now we hire very slowly. But if someone is not a good fit, you fire fast. And I know this doesn't sound very nice, but the thing is, what happens is you end up with a culture in the company that's so well tightly knit. And the people that I have today, I know I can trust with anything. We've changed completely the entire process. We interview based on culture fit, based on your hustle, and third, based on your talent. Talent is not number one. I don't care if you're the most talented person. In fact, we've hired chemical engineers to work in tech. We've hired an electrical engineer in marketing. And I'm a civil engineer. But not all our engineers, by the way. But the point is, our main core now is if you're dorky and if you're a hustler, you fit.
In the previous episodes that I've recorded and you just published with Khalil from Teller, he said culture eats strategy for breakfast.
Absolutely. I listened to that on the way here and I absolutely agree. Yeah.
If there was one thing that you could change, what would that be?
If there's one thing that I could have changed, it would have been...
Not necessarily in the past, in general, if there is one thing that you could change, what would that be?
I wouldn't have sold my Bitcoin in 2013. I'll show you the logs of how much I had. It's just stupid. I bought in 2012. But no, jokes aside, if there's one thing I would have changed, I would have pivoted faster. I would have pivoted much sooner. But we're still doing just fine. We had a single month of downtime. So a month of no revenue between the B2B and B2C. But had I seen the signs that at the time Addenda was a solution looking for a problem, I should have pivoted much earlier.
All right, good lesson. All right, man. So to wrap up, I have a small game to play with you. I'm going to ask you one or the other, like one or two. You just tell me
which one.
One or two.
Cool.
No explanations, nothing. Abu Dhabi or Dubai?
Abu Dhabi.
East or West?
East.
Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg?
Elon Musk.
Crypto or gold?
Crypto.
Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Ethereum.
Burj Khalifa or Emirates Palace?
Burj Khalifa.
But you said Abu Dhabi.
I know. Good question.
Batman or Joker?
Batman.
Day or night?
Day.
High
Any day.
risk, high reward, or low risk, low reward?
I would be in insurance if I'm low risk, low reward. I'm in an insurtech, so high risk, high reward.
Ants or elephants?
Ants.
$10 million or bonus 2 years of life?
$10 million.
Turning back time or seeing the future?
Seeing the future.
The Change Officer podcast or the Joe Rogan Experience?
The Change Officer podcast, bro.
Thanks for coming, man.
Cheers, man. Thanks a lot.
It was awesome.
Pleasure's mine.
Thanks everyone for staying until the end. I hope that you enjoyed this fun episode with Walid and that you got hyped and inspired to do some awesome stuff on your own, and that you also got educated more on the insurance industry and where the opportunity lies. If you like what we're doing here with the Change Officer podcast, please like and subscribe. It's going to mean a ton for us. Leave any comments if you have for Walid or me in the comments. We'll make sure to reply. Thanks again and stay tuned. There is another episode coming out next Monday. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.